Hey there, hope you're doing great. Ready to save a lot of money by changing an outlet yourself? Let's get right into it. It's very important to make sure you always turn off the breaker for whichever outlet you're going to be changing. So make sure it is in the off position before trying to change an outlet. You're going to start by taking the cover off by using just a standard flathead screwdriver to unscrew that and pull this off. Once the cover's off, you unscrew the screws at the top and bottom, and the outlet pulls right out, just like this. Now you'll notice on this one, this green screw here does not have anything connected to it. That's your ground wire, and that's where it connects. The issue with this outlet in particular was that that ground wire, at some point for some reason, had touched the hot lead right here. You can see where it's black. It touched that, and it shorted out the circuit and caused this to be damaged. So with the outlet pulled out, you will just take a screwdriver, loosen the screws on the side of the outlet, and that's going to allow you to pull these wires off of those screws. Now, those screws are holding it down there. So if you loosen those, you can pull the wires right off. Sometimes you have to loosen it a little bit more and use a screwdriver possibly to get that loose from behind there. But those screws will allow those to be taken off, and you do that on both sides, your hot wires and your neutral wires. Now you want to make sure that you pay attention to where these wires are coming from. You want to make sure that the two wires that come out of the same casing get hooked up to the same outlet. You don't want to cross those. But we've got these all taken off. Now it is time to connect the new outlet. So we get our wires organized here. You've got your hots, and then you've got your neutrals. So you go ahead and connect the old wires onto the new outlet. And again, you want to make sure that the black and the white from the same wire casing are hooking up to the same outlet. You get those in place and you tighten those down. And you want to make sure these are good and snug. You do not want these to be loose. When you unplug something, if that outlet jerks at all and that's loose, that could cause problems. If two of those wires touch, it could be a fire hazard. It could damage the outlet or the circuit. We want to go ahead and get the other outlet hooked up as well. So we've already got the neutral on. Going to go ahead and get the hot hooked up here. Make sure that's good and snug. Now we're going to go ahead and get the ground wire hooked up, since we've got our hots and our neutrals hooked up. So you take your ground wire, and it's going to go on the green screw. You just kind of wrap it around that, hook it around that, pull it tight, and use a screwdriver obviously to tighten that down good and snug. We don't want that coming off. That will cause the circuit to not work if there's no ground wire. Then you push the outlet back into the box. It will take a little bit of force. It'll feel like you're kind of forcing it. The wires are made to bend, so that's not a problem. Make sure you get them pushed back in there. Make sure none of the wires are touching as far as the parts that are stripped with bare wires. But you go ahead and get it in there, and you screw the screws back on the top and the bottom. With these screws, it's also important that you get them nice and snug. Now you don't want to over tighten them, because if you do, you can crack the box. But you want to make sure that they are good and snug, because otherwise the outlet will be loose. So we've got the outlet back in there, and the screws are snug. You can see it's not loose. And that is exactly how you want it when you're done. We've got all the wires hooked up good and snug. This outlet is good to go. Now you simply put the cover back on. You're going to put your screw back in there, and again it's a standard flathead screwdriver that's going to tighten that back in place. Again, important to make sure that it is snug but not overly tightened. A lot of times you see these over tightened and it will crack that plastic cover. You just want to make sure it's good and snug to the wall. Pretty simple, right? I hope this was helpful to you, learning how to change an electrical outlet. Come back for more videos on things that you can do around the house to save money by fixing yourself. See you next time.